More and more trade connections between Southeast Asia and the Middle East. Now, Thailand. Dr. Alex Coman is with us now, our expert on economy. What brings all these Asian countries to the Middle East?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of money. When you talk about the Middle East, you're talking about the rich countries, United Arab Emirates, etc. But what I find fantastic about this is when you think about the Silk Road, the mythological Silk Road, and the huge Chinese project to revive the Silk Road. This project is facing opposition because of the trade war between China and the US. China and the US had fantastic relations, but recently this has really fallen apart. So now you're talking about an alternative path with new players, because many companies are trying to leave China because of the explosive relationships between China and the US. So many companies are seeking to leave China for Thailand, Sri Lanka, countries such as also Vietnam, in order to manage the risks, not to be completely exposed to the Chinese manufacturing power. And so this is going to give us an alternative Silk Road, which is very nice. I'm all for free trade, which was hurt a little bit in this relationship in the West, and also if you think about the Brexit. So I think it's great news.
Right. Well, you're talking about this corridor from India through the Middle East to Europe. Is it practical?
Well, what you see is that Europe is completely non-competitive in terms of labor prices. If I talk about basic labor like clothes, assembling automobiles, spare parts, food processing, etc. So they are talking about plain labor, which is very significant today. And I think that the ability to move these products into Europe and into basically the Gulf views itself as a hub. It's not such a big market to say, wow, I'll be exposed to all but they view themselves as a hub from which this
but manufacturing is also already in Asia. So what are we talking? Are we talking about shipping? What's the big news?
I think there's a lot of wishful thinking, you know, these images of a blue sky, etc. In the past, because also one thing that's characteristic of it, it's one-sided in the sense that you can see products, say from Thailand, being processed in Sri Lanka, moving to the Emirates. It's very difficult to see things moving in the opposite direction. The interesting thing is that this agreement also talks about services. And what we see in economics is a move from agriculture to industry to services, to tourism, etc. Again, I can envision Southeast Asian tourists moving to the Middle East. It's more difficult for me to see the traffic in the opposite
direction. So what will the UAE, for example, get out of this?
This is part of a major move that the UAE actually takes very seriously to build itself another leg beyond the oil, gas, and natural resources. So because it has many natural resources, it wants to move into industry. So they might be thinking about investing because they have so much money, so they might use today's money to buy tomorrow's industry and economic relations, so that they would not be that dependent on oil when oil becomes less lucrative or less profitable.
And the Chinese, they might change their policies and do something about it.
I really hope they would do that, because China was fantastic. When China wanted, there was this thing, more open China. The idea was China wanted to go to the West. It was fantastic. And I think the watershed was when they destroyed the Ant Financial, was supposed to be the world's largest initial public offering, and they destroyed it. And the world was very much aware of that you do not want to invest in China because you don't know what would happen to your money. This, I think, was a major signal that China is no longer looking at economics, it's more looking at its political power and abilities, and I think this was a bad move away from rational economics.
What can the Chinese do economically in order to neutralize this kind of corridor we're talking about?
First of all, I think they need to think in a peaceful way, because one thing, I mean, Huawei, I think, is the symbol of that. You're looking at Huawei as a formidable company with mobile phones, telecommunications, and I know Western competitors were totally scared of Huawei because their prices were lower than their own costs. And then suddenly people said, wait, but the reason Huawei is so competitive is because they don't care about selling the product. They care about planting the product in strategic points. So I think they need to switch their opinion from that area.
Dr. Alex Coman, thank you very much.